The new Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Richard, I would tell you, if you don't see it on the faces, I hear it on the phone lines every day, exactly what you're talking about. People here are sensitive to this. They're exactly in lockstep with what you're talking about, without a doubt. That's one of the things we talk about all the time. That's why we're so thrilled with what you're doing as far as actually not just talking about this, but doing something. What's happening? Can you tell us some of the announcements that you have tonight?
First of all, I developed a series of exercises of the mind to develop intellectual excellence and to go for clarity of thought, reason, logic, clarity of thought, and then as the human brain is developed and as we become emotionally mature enough, for critical analysis, which simply means honesty in the tale of the narrative tale of your country. What crimes have we committed? Cop to it and move on. We have a tendency to say in America, either America never sins, and anyone who ever says we do sin is a traitor, or America only sins, and anyone who says that America doesn't do anything but sin is an idiot. Both groups need therapy. So this problem is one of the problems that rises above partisanship. It damages and inflicts fatal wounds on all of us. And we have to rise above toxic partisanship to solve it. Or to put it another way, it is too important a problem to leave to partisan solutions because people have allowed their local political biases to stand in the way of what they know this country needs. People say we pay too much in taxes. People say we pay too little. People can say a lot of things. Understand that sometimes you need to pay a lot and sometimes you don't need to pay so much. But if you don't pay enough to make sure that the infrastructure of your country is working, you're not paying enough, or it's not working correctly, or we're not distributing the money correctly. Scott is a guy who happens to believe that the General Accounting Office is the sexiest office in the federal government. And if anyone actually read the reports they called for, we could have a perfect government. Now, I know that I watched policemen and firemen who were heroes and died in the towers falling. When they asked for raises 6 months later, they were called traitors. When teachers who spend 9.5 hours a day trying to instill some knowledge and values into the minds of our young, they are told that they are lazy and worthless, and they just want to grab our money, and as if they're some vacationing tourists or something. Teachers are the ones we all remember. Everyone in this room remembers the good teachers, because they were the ones who opened your mind, enlarged your heart, and made you better. And yet we allow ourselves to be distracted into letting them be victimized, letting them be pointed at as if they were our enemy. And your silence, until that applause, your silence is not helpful. What we need is that everyone get together and say, I may disagree with you about this and this and this, but on this issue, excellence in teaching, excellence in education, and making our kids smarter, I'm with you. And we're all together.
Richard, have the major California teachers, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, has anybody endorsed civics specifically through you?
I have the endorsement of Rotary, of the National Association of Secondary School Principals and Superintendents. I have the endorsement of the Girl Scouts. I have the endorsement of oodles of people in oodles of areas of our lives. Which is why when I came to Washington to get them to sign one statement, which was, I'm for the teaching of civics as a nonpartisan issue, I was astounded when I got a no right down the line from the right to the left, no matter who I talked to, the Heritage Foundation, the Huffington Post, everyone said no, except two guys who were known as deeply conservative, Darrell Issa of California and John Boehner, the Speaker of the House. And those were the only two people who said yes. And I know that we're all thinking right now, John Boehner and Darrell Issa, those insane people. Well, they're not so insane if they're saying to me, Richard, we're for what you said, and we'll sign it. And they've learned a lesson, which is that there are some things that rise above partisanship. But if we got civics taught in every school in the country, and that's what we got, would it solve our problems? No. Would it make the automobile companies not turn your schedule of payments over to their collective agencies, wake you up at 5:30 in the morning and humiliate you and demand that you pay on time even though you've paid on time? Would they make caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, become again the normal course of business in America? Business schools in America used to teach three things: profit, excellence of product, and protection of the workforce. NAFTA took care of protection of the workforce. We continued to build shoddy automobiles and anything of steel, and we allowed profit to remain as the only value. Profit is what allows political debate to go on television. Now, profit is allowed to be the evaluator for including people in the public discourse. What difference is that from when we say we left Great Britain because there was an establishment wall of caste and class designed by wealth that kept us out? What difference is there, really? Or did we just get our history wrong and George Washington actually lost the War of Independence and turned his sword over to Lord Cornwallis?
The new Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.